Hi, my name is Ben Sutter III, and I'm founder and owner of BS3 Radio. I've been podcasting for 5 years, and with BS3 Radio, it has grown to over 46,000 listens and downloads. I've helped hundreds of people to start a podcast by giving them the knowledge, tools, and confidence to be successful. Now I'm here to help you do the same with BS3 Coaching. So let's build a successful podcast. I will be your podcast coach. We'll be able to work one-on-one. I won't be giving you a booklet and just telling you to look over it, but we'll be working one-on-one, side by side, to either help build up a successful podcast or to take your podcast to the next level. So click the link above or below to check out the pricing. I look forward to working with you, and God bless. All right. Welcome everyone to Late Night with BS3. I had to change up the venue a little bit. I am doing this from my phone. Was having computer issues that I was not aware of that was going to happen tonight. But we are live right now. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. And also we're live on Twitter. And we will be having an awesome show tonight. We got some really great guests. We're going to have first up, and this is called Talking to Creatives. And tonight we will have a few guests. We'll have Rick Curti. He is owner of the Charlotte Bats, which is a possible Major League Baseball team. We will also have president of Smokey John's Barbecue here in Dallas. I'm very excited to get Brent Jones on the show. Also, we will have Arthur COO speaker, Dr. Leonie Madison. She's been on the show before. This is her second time coming on. And also we'll have comedian and YouTuber Neil Story to Tell. So we got some great guests coming up. Let's bring in Rick first. Thank you for coming on the show tonight. Rick, how's it going?
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for reaching out. I'm glad we were able to connect.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
No problem. So I'm a big Major League Baseball fan, as you are yourself. But introduce yourself. Let us know who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Rick Curti. I'm the founder and CEO of the Charlotte Bats. We're a grassroots organization to bring Major League Baseball to Charlotte, North Carolina. And pretty much what I do is just try to get our city and our state to get a Major League Baseball team. And I think it'll be coming in the very near future.
All right. How long have you been working on this project of bringing Major League Baseball to Charlotte?
Probably for around 6 years or so. I moved here from Los Angeles. Been here for 13 years. And when I moved out here, North Carolina's got everything. Got mountains, beaches, we got great barbecue food. We got the Hornets, we got the Panthers, in Raleigh, we have a hockey team. We're going to get a brand new soccer team next year. We're very, very excited. And I always wondered, why doesn't Charlotte have Major League Baseball? Forget that. Why doesn't North Carolina ever have Major League Baseball?
True.
And so for 2 years, I did a study on it. I compared population, growth, economics, economy, people moving here every day. And I compared our city and we found out that there were 13 other cities that had Major League Baseball. Milwaukee is actually the smallest city that has Major League Baseball. And we're one of the fastest growing metropolis cities in the United States. We've been growing like crazy for the past 20 years. And so I said, well, I have a choice. Either I just complain and wait or do something about it. So I'm a go-getter. I want to do something about it and see what happens.
Awesome. I definitely think it could happen. And I think you brought this up on one of your posts, is that Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball, has been talking about expanding, and there are possible locations where he would open it up. And I think Charlotte could be a great spot. They already have football, they already have basketball. It only makes sense to bring a baseball team. So talk about, have you been able to get in contact with Manfred? What are some things that you've been able to try to do to get this pushed along?
Well, in 2015, you're right. The commissioner came out with a list. He actually had it. He had other cities. There was like 10 other cities in there. He had Oklahoma. He had Mexico City, which I didn't really see. New Jersey. So he later on shortened it to 6. And right now, the 6 cities that he's looking at are Montreal, Portland, Charlotte, Las Vegas, Vancouver, and Nashville. Those are the 6 cities they're looking at. So we've tried to reach out to him. I sent him some merchandise, like a shirt and a hat, things like that. And we'll see what happens. This pandemic has been bad. That kind of hurt our momentum a little bit. But right now, I'm trying to get our governor involved. Our governor is a huge sports fan. I was making some headway with him, with his staff, and of course, unfortunately, COVID came, and so that's been the thing that nobody ever saw coming. I didn't see it coming at all. Never, like, what's this? So, but right now we're
Yeah.
making some headway right now, and that momentum's coming back, and it shows like yours that help us get that word out. So we appreciate it.
Definitely, definitely. And once again, we have Rick Curti, Charlotte Bats. You also have a website. Talk about the website, and you have merch on there as well. So talk about that.
Yeah, our website is www.charlottebats.com. We're actually going to be opening up our pro shop very soon. We're going to have hats and T-shirts. We thought of everything. We wanted jerseys, hats, T-shirts. We have a back spring training jerseys, and hopefully more merchandise coming soon. And we're all over the social media. We're on Twitter, Charlotte Bats Baseball. We're also on Instagram at Charlotte Bats. We're on LinkedIn under Rick Curti, which is me. I'm also on Twitter at Charlotte Bats Baseball. And we also have a Facebook page called Charlotte MLB and Charlotte Bats Baseball. And we just try to get the word around and kind of show people why Charlotte should have Major League Baseball. And we also show the history of Major League Baseball in Charlotte. We had great play here. We've had Jim Thome play in Charlotte for the Knights. We had Cal Ripken play here when they were the Charlotte O's in the early 80s. Harmon Killebrew, there actually was a Charlotte Hornets baseball team back in the day, and Harmon Killebrew and Tony Oliva actually played here. And if you remember the movie Field of Dreams, remember Moonlight Graham? There actually was a real Archibald Moonlight Graham. He actually was from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and he actually played for the original Charlotte Hornets baseball team. So we have a lot of history here about Major League Baseball in North Carolina.
Wow, that is pretty amazing, and it's great to see that you're a historian of Charlotte baseball, and so I mean they got to make you a GM, a president of that team when it comes, just because you have so much knowledge and understanding of it. Now this is an interactive show, so sometimes we do get questions. Those of you that are tuning in, if you have questions or comments or anything, also make sure to like, subscribe, and click that bell on the video if you're watching on YouTube. But thank you, Walter Strong, for tuning in. He had a question. He said, what have been some of the challenges that you faced getting the city of Charlotte to buy into a baseball team there?
That's a great question. When I first started this, I would ask people, why doesn't North Carolina have Major League Baseball? And the first thing was, oh, we can't support it. We're a small team. This is now we're into college sports. So when I first started this, unfortunately, there are cities that have stereotypes. Our stereotype was NASCAR and college basketball, Duke, Tar Heels, great rivalry. So people always saw North Carolina as like a college team. They look at us as a small market team. They look at us as, oh, it's the South. They're not really big into baseball, which is ridiculous. Everybody loves baseball. So those have been the challenges to break down those stereotypes. And I think we've done a good job. And I think with the Panthers, not that long ago going to the Super Bowl, which was great. The Hornets got LaMelo Ball right now, and he's really making a case for NBA Rookie of the Year. We got, of course, probably the greatest basketball player that ever lived out here, Michael Jordan, who's the owner of the Hornets. We got David Tepper here, who's one of the wealthiest owners in the NFL right now with the Hornets, and he's the one that brought Major League Soccer here. So we're making some headway right now with it. But in the beginning, yeah, it was tough. Just people who lived there all their lives and just really never thought about it or really didn't think that their city could get it. And when Manfred put this on our list, I didn't even know about it. I had people messaging me saying, "Hey, look, Charlotte's on this list. You did it, you did
Yeah.
it, you did it." And I was like, "Well, I didn't really do nothing. I just showed people why Charlotte should get Major League Baseball." But I'm happy for after all these years that even the commissioner of Major League Baseball says yes, Charlotte should have a Major League Baseball team.
Yeah, and that's powerful that you have the commissioner recognizing and noticing. So, I mean, I commend you on how far this is going, and I really am looking forward to it going even further to be able to truly bring that team. Now, who would you want to be the coach of this team when it comes out?
That's a good question. People ask me all the time. I was mentioning Cal Ripken. I would love to see Cal Ripken Jr. be the manager for the Charlotte Bat, whatever the name would be of the
Yeah.
team. I mean, I would be. I mean, he played here, for the Charlotte O's. He got his career started here. He's a great ambassador. I mean, when I grew up watching Cal Ripken, him and Tony Gwynn were like two of the best ball players I ever saw. No scandals. You don't hear about them holding out for more money. Now today, all these players want to get traded or they want all this money. And hey, I'm not going to report to camp. You never saw that with them ever. No egos. And he holds a record for the longest, streak, which will never be broken. Like never. I mean,
Oh
if
yeah.
you get someone to play miss one, if it play every game 1 year, that's an accomplishment. Did it for 18 years, he didn't miss a game, which is astonishing. So I think Cal Ripken will be a great ambassador. I think he'd be great if he wants to manage. I hope he does, and I would love to see him come here and be the new manager of the Charlotte baseball team.
Yeah, I think that would be amazing also. And yeah, Cal Ripken was one of my favorite players growing up for the Orioles. I remember having his baseball cards. I used to love collecting baseball cards. He was one of my favorite players. So yeah, I think he would be great to be a manager. Let me give a shout out to Togo Coles. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Let me know if you have any questions for Rick. So Charlotte Bats, I think it's a great name. How did you go about? Because tonight's show was about talking to people that are creative, and you have to be creative to create jerseys, to create a name, to create all these different aspects. So talk about the process of you being able to get the jerseys created, get the logo created. Talk about that.
Well, when we started this, we wanted to get people are visual. So, I'm not the first to start this. There was another guy that started this, kind of went at it the wrong way. He stopped doing it. And so I said, well, I guess I'll do it. So I said, we're going to go a little differently. We're going to come up with a team. We're going to come up with a logo. I'll even come up with some uniforms to get people that vision because people are very visual. So we kicked some names around. The name I really wanted was the Charlotte Cardinals. The Cardinals, a state bird of North Carolina. But unfortunately, a lot of Cardinal teams, Arizona Cardinals, Louisville
Right.
Cardinals, Stanford Cardinals, go on, go on and on and on. So that wasn't going to work. So then I came up with a crazy idea. Let's call them some kooky, something weird, and get everyone's attention. So we came up with the Charlotte Bat Dogs. I know, it sounds crazy. And so
It's
people
creative though.
yeah, people hated the name. I mean, I got bashed all the time. This is a stupid name. I hate it. And then somebody just said, look, chop it in half, just say Charlotte Bats. That sounds a lot better. And so I thought, I said, that does sound better. And then we found out that in Greensboro, they had a minor league baseball team called the Greensboro Bats. And then they changed their name in 2004 to the Greensboro Grasshoppers, which they're still called today. So I said, okay, there you go. We got to link us to North Carolina. And I said, what else can we do? If we can come up with if the uniforms or the logo can be the colors of the city of Charlotte, that'd be great. So forest green's the color of the city of Charlotte. We actually have a university, UNCC, and their
Oh
colors
yeah.
are that of Charlotte. So we combine the history of the Greensboro Bats, and then we combine the history of the colors of the city of Charlotte. and UNCC, go 49ers, and put all that together and came up with Charlotte Bats. And ever since then, people really like the idea and they love the uniforms. They said these are great uniforms. I wanted to come back with the old style uniforms in the 60s. I remember the Pirates when they had those two-tone color uniforms. I said, let's come up with something like that. I want to bring back that old style, that old history of baseball. So let's come out with the two different two-tone uniforms, and people really like it. And I like pinstripes, so I always like to put stripes on the uniform. So I thought it make it look really cool, and people really have they really like it.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll say, with those pinstripes, I used to love those too, especially with the Pirates.
Yeah,
Yankees are obviously traditional with their pinstripes, but when the Pirates did it back in the day, I thought that was great. And I'm a Rangers fan. I'm here in Texas, so I like the
there you go.
Texas Rangers, Texas teams. But this is a really great idea, and you taking it from someone that already started it. But I think it's pretty amazing of you going this far to bring a team to Charlotte. So we have the uniforms already. You have hats. Like, where can people get this through the website, through charlottebats.com?
Yeah, you can go to our website. We haven't put it up yet, but we're going to open it up soon. We were going to get ready to do that. Unfortunately, this pandemic kind of took everything by storm, so we had to like put things on hold for a little bit. My thing was safety is the most important thing. This is something we haven't seen in since 1918, the Spanish flu,
Right,
and so it seems like every 100 years is always some kind of something happened and that'll shut the whole world down. And unfortunately, that's what happened. And so, but we're picking it back up. It looks like things are getting a lot better now. And I heard that the Rangers are going to have a game where a lot of fans are going to go out there. So I'm happy to see baseball back. And so it's just been a very long year, but we're going to get that website going and we're going to sell merchandise. And the funny thing is that when I started this, I mean, I didn't really think people would pay attention. We actually have a fan that's in Belgium, and she contacted
wow.
me. She contacted me and said, "Can I get one of your shirts?" And I thought, okay, sure. Like, why? I mean, Belgium. I mean, and she goes, "Well, my name is actually Charlotte Bats, and I would like to have a shirt
Wow.
with your name on it. Can I have it?" And I said, "Sure." I mean, it says bring MLB to Charlotte in the back, and I'm sure I don't know if people know anything about North Carolina there, but yeah, we can promote it. So she was very nice. Sent me a picture of herself. It's actually on our website, and her actual name is Charlotte Bats. So Charlotte
Wow.
Bats, if you're listening in Belgium, thank you very much for your support.
That is awesome. What better jersey to get with your name on it, and you don't have to get it custom made because
No.
somebody already made it. I mean, that's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome to see. So we have Rick Curti on the show. Thank you so much for coming on. I know you're wanting to push this, and with this Major League Baseball season coming up, what's the plans for this year? What are some other things you're going to be trying to do to get this, in front of the right people and be able to bring this to the forefront?
Well, I want to bring it to our city council, bring it to our mayor. That's some we were going to start doing. Bring it to our legislators. This is the great thing about this. Unfortunately, we live in a country right now. We're kind of divided. You disagree on something, and people want to like rip your throat out. Unfortunately, there's no more
Yeah,
civil. Hey, I respect your opinion. That's cool. I don't agree with you, but hey, that's fine with me. You don't seem to have that anymore. The great thing about this is that it doesn't matter what side you're on in politics. It doesn't matter you're married. It doesn't matter how tall, wealthy. People love baseball, and I have
right.
talked to politicians, Republicans, Democrats, unaffiliates, and they say this is a great idea. I would love to see this. I grew up in North Carolina, and I always wondered if North Carolina would ever get a Major League Baseball team. And it's so nice to see somebody that wants to do this. And
Yeah,
so that's the great thing about it is that people love it. They don't matter who you are. They love the idea, and I think baseball or sports in all general just brings people together. Doesn't matter If you agree, you disagree, don't matter. People love to watch baseball or football or everything. That's what I love about sports. It brings a lot of unity to people. So that's going to be our first thing, is to just, whenever things open up. Right now, things in North Carolina are kind of like at a 25% capacity, and some things are closed right now. But once things start opening up a lot more, and I think in the summer we'll get back to some type of normalcy. I want to pitch my idea back again to the governor, to our mayor, to our city council, to our state senators, legislators, whoever. Go back on radio shows, talk shows, and just get the word out about why Charlotte should get Major League Baseball.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you got a really good shot, and I'm really looking forward to it. Rick, Curti, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and I think you have a really great idea that you're pushing forward. Before I let you go, what other teams are you a fan of? So, you know, you talked about the NBA. Are you Charlotte everything, or are you a fan of teams outside of Charlotte?
Yeah, I actually grew up in Los Angeles, so I was spoiled with two of everything: two baseball teams, two football teams, two NBA teams. So, I'm a Dodger fan. I love the Dodgers. I'm happy they won the World Series. Lakers, I'm happy for LeBron and the Lakers. My brother's a huge Lakers fan, so it's great to see the Dodgers finally win a World Series after so many years. And so I'm a Dodger fan right here, and hopefully, when we get Major League Baseball, we can bring the Dodgers here and they can face Charlotte and see what happens. I think it'd be great. So I'm a Dodger fan.
Okay, okay, awesome. Are you a Tar Heels fan when it comes to college?
I do like the Tar Heels. We're blessed to have two great college teams out here. They're like 6 miles apart. To me, it's the best rivalry in all of college basketball. I'm a little biased, but even when I lived in California, I always thought that Duke and the Tar Heels was always the best rivalry in sports. But I do like the Tar Heels. I grew up watching Dean Smith. Now you see Roy Williams doing his thing. So I do like the Tar Heels, and we are the Tar Heel state here in North Carolina. So you have to like the
Yeah,
Tar Heels.
you got to, yeah, yeah. And funny thing, a lot of my family is from Hickory, North
Okay.
Carolina. I'm not familiar, if you're familiar with that, but
Yeah, it's about an hour away. Not far.
yeah. I've always loved North Carolina since I was a kid. My dad kind of instilled that in me. The Tar Heels. I'm a big fan of them, and yeah, I visit there frequently, so I'm really interested in what you're doing. Hopefully, get to meet you in the future as well. We get to go to a
Absolutely.
Charlotte Bats game
Yeah.
together.
Hopefully, I can come to Texas and see a Rangers game, and they have a really cool stadium that they're getting ready to open up. So that'll be kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. And we got another question from Walter Strong. He says, once the team becomes official, how long will it take for the Bats to win the World Series?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a lot of pressure. Usually it takes about 6 years, 6 to 7 years for a brand new team to be competitive. So that means like making the playoffs. So hopefully we can do it soon. Now with expansion and free agency and everything, hopefully it'll be soon. Look at the Diamondbacks. They got their World Series within like what, 5 years?
Right,
So you see a lot of look at the Marlins. They haven't been around. They already got two World Series. So, and I mean, look at the Golden Knights. First year in the NHL, they went to the Stanley Cup Finals, which is amazing. So
right.
anything's possible. That would be phenomenal. In our first year, we won a World Series. But right now, my main goal is to get an MLB team in Charlotte, and hopefully, when we get that team, we can bring a World Series.
Yeah, yeah. And then from there, the rest is history. So
Exactly.
uh, great to have you on tonight, Rick. CharlotteBats.com. Make sure to go to the website. Also, they're on all avenues of social media. Thank you for coming on. Love to have you on in the future as well.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. All right. That's my guy, Rick Curti, the first time that I've had him on the show. Really excited and looking forward to having him on the show in the future. This next guest coming up, I know him very well, Brent Reeves. He is the president of Smokey John's Barbecue and Home Cooking in the Dallas area, and a great guy all around. But I wanted to get him on tonight. Like I said, we're talking to creatives, talking to people that create. He creates food and not just food. I'm talking about food that you sell at the fair, food that is delicious and looks good. Some of it, I would say, is extremely healthy as well. I've eaten his food numerous times. Let's bring on Brent Reeves. How you doing, Brent?
Hey, what's going on, Ben? Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, no problem. You big time. So I thank you
Whatever.
for gracing.
What?
Thank you for gracing
Whatever.
my presence.
Oh man, anytime, anything for Ben, man. Are you kidding me? Man, just honored to be able to spend some time with you tonight.
Definitely, definitely. So we have Brent Reeves on the show. He is the president and co-owner of Smoky John's Barbecue and Home Cooking in Dallas. And just like I said, a great individual, not just because he's owner of this restaurant, but because he's a great individual that lives with values, and he does a great job in the community and everything that he does. But introduce yourself. I kind of gave you an intro already, but introduce yourself for those that don't know who you are and a little bit of background on yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Brent Reeves, co-owner of Smoky John's Barbecue, president of our company, Smoky John's Inc. We've been in business since 1976. My father
Wow.
is the founder. John Reeves started the company in 1976. Um, he was actually a serial entrepreneur. He would start all type of businesses, roofing, construction, everything. And what he would do when he would actually close a deal, he would actually give someone a smoked turkey or a ham to say thank you for their business.
Mm.
Well, what happened was he started to get hundreds of calls for turkeys and hams, and not roofs, So a friend of his came over his house, man, and he said he had like 100 turkeys all over the house, and his friend was like, "Man, you need a restaurant." So 1976, he took a chance, took a risk, opened his first restaurant.
Wow.
So
Wow. I did not know that story.
yeah,
That's awesome. Awesome to finally hear that story. This is a very interactive show, as you probably already know. So we may get questions and comments and things like that. Courtney Harden, thank you for tuning in. He says, "What's up?" James Montgomery is a good friend of mine. He hosts a show on BS3 Radio called the Ear Hustling Podcast. He said, "Do
nice.
you have samples you can send to Atlanta?" He's in Atlanta.
I'm starting to get that question a lot from Atlanta. Hey, let's see what we can do.
Yeah. So what you guys do, which I think is amazing, is that you provide this barbecue. Texas is really historical with barbecue. Like a
Yeah.
lot of barbecue places. There's some on almost every corner. It's kind of like church. You got
Yep.
churches and barbecue spots. They kind of go hand in hand. Some may be next door. Some may be inside of each other. You just never know. But that's just one of those things that come, to Texas. Now, what you guys do is you do something with the State Fair of Texas, which I think is amazing. The creativity that you guys do as well. Like we said, talking to creatives tonight. Talk about how did that connection come with the fair? I haven't heard that story before.
So just going back, first of all, so my dad actually was the second African American vendor at the State Fair of Texas. He was only second to Little Bob, who was the first African American at the State Fair of Texas, which was pretty cool. And so Dad got in and was doing a barbecue thing, and that was going really well. And at one point, the fair started doing some things to increase attendance, and so they started doing all kind of different things. One year they decided to do this fried food competition, and man, that thing took off. They had no idea that they would get that kind of just notoriety at the beginning of just coming up with a contest.
Yeah.
I think we entered the first couple of contests. We've entered every year. So back then it was like no one had ever fried Snickers. Like nobody had ever done that. You know what I mean? And
Right,
so
right.
people, were winning with that. And then a friend of ours who, Abel Gonzalez, he really just stepped up, the whole thing and did the whole fried peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, And it's like
Right.
after that, I mean, the thing just went nuts, and what happens is when it got to the point where Oprah found out about it. And so the year he won, I actually got to meet Oprah with him. My dad actually helped him get his booth at the fair to even get started. And through that, he actually created something, fried butter, fried Coke, and Oprah came. After Oprah showed up, it was over. So
It was
now this
over.
thing is, oh, it's over. It's over. The year we won in 2016 with fried Jello. And that really put us on the map. I was able to, guys, grocery games heard about it, and that's how I actually got on that show. So, you know, we just come up with the stupidest, craziest ideas. We just
People love
really
it though.
do. And they love it, man. It's like they love it. And then, you know what the thing is? People are like, they look forward to it every year. Like, what are they going to fry next? You know? So,
Yeah.
and we actually have a creative team that puts together a strategy every year for what we're going to create for the fair.
Wow. I did not know that. Yeah, I mean, and the turkey legs too, that's a big thing at the fair.
Yeah.
Obviously the turkey legs, which is something that's synonymous with the State Fair of Texas. But yeah, when I first went, because I'm originally from California, so State Fair to us is like, you know, candy corn and just popcorn and stuff like that. It's nothing. When I came to this one, I was like, whoa. Like, I've been missing out my whole life. Where have I been at my whole entire life? So I was trying everything fried, and my wife was like, okay, you need to slow down on this fried stuff. I'm like, hey, I got to try everything. I got to try as much as I possibly can, because, you know, that's the, you know, idea. So going to the State Fair, seeing that you had a booth, and it's great to hear about, you know, the history and how it got started. So now last year with the State Fair being canceled, I know they had a drive-through. How did that work out with what you guys normally do during the State Fair?
Yeah, completely different. This year, basically, the fair needed a couple of items. So we were blessed to have the opportunity to provide turkey legs and sausage on a stick for the drive-through fair. They only had 8 vendors. 8 out of 83 vendors were selected to do the drive-through. And I think the drive-through was very successful. They had a great turnout. I think it was more successful even than they imagined, because a number of people, you know, during COVID, people had just been so sick of being at home. It's like
we were
you know
sick
what
and
I
tired.
mean?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you wanted a reason to be able to get out of the house, you know, and to be able to have an opportunity to do something that was safe because you're in your own car, you know. All of the vendors, you know, fully protected gloves and masks and all that kind of good stuff. So it was a really safe time. But you know, it was completely different, man. You know the fair. I mean, you know,
it's packed. I mean, people come there just to walk around. They may not even buy anything. They just may be there to walk around and see what's new.
Yeah, absolutely. And to not have that was it was a change. You know, I mean, people still were so excited to be able to get the fair food, to still get the Fletcher's corny dogs, you know, to get the corn and all that kind of good stuff. So people were still excited about it, but it wasn't the same as being actually on the grounds and seeing people. But they did. I think the fair did a great job of creating the energy out there. They still had the car show, so it was really cool that you could actually drive through the car show. People were still able to take pictures with big text. So, you know, it's a lot of cool things that they still were able to accomplish. But again, you know, it's not the fair. That's what I'm saying.
Right. True. At one point, you guys had 2 locations, right? In Dallas, you had one on Mockingbird and the other one on what was the other location that you guys had?
Gaston, near
okay.
Gaston and Washington.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do have. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, so that location closed in 2013. I think Schlotsky's bought the property we were on, and that's why we're down back to 1.
Yep. Now, we do have a question here I wanted to bring up, which this is a great question. Has your restaurant or yourself had a chance to compete in pit master competitions?
You know, no. I leave that to those guys. I mean, that competition barbecue is a whole nother level, man. That's a whole
I can't even imagine.
Oh man. I mean, we've been doing what we do now for, it'll be 45 years this year, right? So we've been
Right.
doing a long time. I've been in the business now. It'll be 22 years in December. So we've been doing a long time. However, it ain't the same as Myron Mixon and all those boys. I mean, what they do, man. It's a science. It's a whole
Yeah, it's
nother
stress.
level,
That's
man.
stress. I
That's
mean,
stress,
it's different when you cooking for a group of people that you have coming in for the day. It's
right?
different when you cooking. You got what, an hour? Sometimes I got an hour to not even that long to cook
Yeah.
food, prepare it, plate it, get sides, and all that stuff. That stuff is mind blowing.
Listen, man. I've done enough of these national television shows. That cooking on TV is stressful enough. Barbecue, that's a whole, I mean, there's a whole nother level of attention that barbecue, deserves. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah,
so,
oh yeah,
no, sir. No, I let the big boys have that, and I'll keep doing my thing in my restaurants.
definitely, definitely. So we have Brent Reeves on the show. He is the co-owner of Smoky John's Inc. So you guys had a fire. This was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to kind of touch on how you guys made it through that, and now what it looks like on the other end of that kind of tragedy that you guys had.
Mhm. The fire was tough. I actually was headed to the restaurant. My brother called. He had just left, and he calls and says he's just going over some things for the day. He said, "Hey, hold on just a second." So he clicks over, and I'm like, "Okay." I'm actually driving I'm like 10 minutes from the store. He clicks
Yeah.
back over. He said, "Hey, man, are you headed to the restaurant?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "They say the restaurant's on fire." I'm like, "What? It's on
What?
fire? What?" You know,
Yeah.
Man, I'm driving 90 miles an hour trying to get there. And so I pull up, man, and to see your place in flames and to have 3 fire trucks outside all spraying water on your
Wow.
restaurant, brother. That's the most humbling experience I think I've had in my
Wow.
43 years. Man. And then to pull up and the fire was so bad they blocked off Mockingbird. So
Wow.
I had to tell the fire chief and fire marshals, like, "Hey, man, that's my place." He was like, "Oh, are you sure?" I was like, "Bro,
I'm sure.
it's me. I promise. I mean, look at my shirt. I'm not,
Right.
it's a nice shirt, but I'm not just repping this, So,
Yeah.
so I run over there, man. They let me in, and man, I'm looking and smoke's everywhere. My team is sitting outside, man, and they're in tears because they're like, "I
Wow.
can't believe it." The first thing they look at me and they're like, "Look, you can take our checks. Don't worry about paying us. We want to make sure y'all are all right." I'm like, man,
Wow.
that's
Man.
again humbling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
But the grace of God is really what got us through it, man. We were underinsured. Um, I'm sorry, grossly underinsured. And through the whole thing, the Lord opened up a door for us to be able to get a loan to rebuild. And then the insurance company came back and did some other things and actually took care of us in a different way. But it
Wow.
all worked out and it put us in a better place than we were before the fire.
Wow.
But I
Thank
tell
God.
you, oh man, it's a blessing, man. And I'm gonna tell you what the fire did for us though. It actually prepared us for COVID. It really did
Mm, that is
because
that's real right there.
it was phenomenal. Man, we were able to learn how to cook in small spaces. We learned how to be creative and create opportunities. We were cooking our food out of 2 locations after the fire and still delivering catering. We were cooking meats in one kitchen on one side of town, and we were cooking sides on the other side of town. And
Wow.
we were having the 2 drivers connect and then deliver the food because we were just trying to make it, man. We were just
Yeah.
trying to keep it together. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
so when COVID hit, it was like this really sucks, but we have a building,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
we're
It's totally different now. Yeah.
we're winning. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. We're already
We're
one leg
winning,
up from then. Yeah.
man. It was phenomenal, man. It's phenomenal, and I tell people this all the time. I've done several interviews, and they like, "Well, how did you do it?" And I say the thing that people have to realize is your creativity will be your way out. no matter what, your creativity through anything will be your way out. So,
Yeah,
and that's
that's
what we
a
live
great
by.
point.
Yeah.
That's a great point. And that's why we're talking to creatives tonight. And this is one of the creative guys in the cooking realm and in the marketing. So I want to talk about how you guys have just done a great job. I want to say that on the air. Have you done a great job promoting the promotions you have, promoting what you're doing, promoting we got the baskets. I mean, like talk about how at what point did that, because that seems like that has been a major point that kind of just like transcended you guys to a whole nother level.
Yeah, we just made a point. My brother and I were like, so we've been around for a long time, but our generation really doesn't know Smokey John's. They just don't know Smokey
Yeah.
John's. So what we had to do was figure out how do we bridge the gap between our generation and our dad's generation, and we realized like we have to create some new things that start to create more attention. So one of the things that we were focusing on the last couple of years has been PR. I was like, okay, so what do we need to do? We start connecting with foodies and bloggers and all these different people, start building relationships. One thing I learned from my dad was, hey, relationships are everything, right?
Right.
So we start building relationships with radio stations, TV stations. Man, I give food to everybody. And we give food. Man, we send food. I mean, I've sent food this year to New York to producers in LA, and we send food all over the place. You know what? Because food is a way in to anywhere. Like nobody turns free food down.
Oh yeah, no, especially
Yeah,
barbecue.
especially barbecue. You say I'm gonna send you some Texas barbecue, bro. You're
They're
gonna get
like,
in the door.
yeah, really, you're in there.
You're in there. You're in there. And that's really, we just made that decision that we don't want to be the best kept secret in Dallas anymore. We're tired of
Yes,
that.
yes,
So we made a conscious decision. My wife got involved with the business about 3 years ago, so she joined and kind of is the director of organizational development and our HR team as well. So she just really manages projects and makes sure that we're on point and that we follow our strategies, man, and then we just go for it, and we just allow ourselves to dream and come up with things. And you know what? There's never a bad idea.
yeah, That's amazing. And I've seen the growth, and I'm big on social media. I'm big into sports, as you know. So to seeing you guys working with the Mavs, I thought that has been amazing. I was scrolling through, on Instagram, and I come past the Dallas Stars, and I'm like, that's Brent. That's Smokey Johns. I know them. I like went to go show people, like I know them. They're so I mean, like that shows that the being generous and the giving out and touching base with these companies, no matter how big or small, has definitely made an impact. But talk about being able to work with the Mavs and also with the Stars and how that came about.
Oh man! So number one, the Mavs and the Stars are probably two of the coolest franchises that you'll ever be connected with. Mark Cuban has really made a lot of efforts to reach out to the community, to make connections with the community. And he's really put his money where his mouth is. Like he really has. I mean, he has done a tremendous job, and you've seen it. You've seen some of the things they've been doing with testing, with the shots, and just everything. He's doing a lot. So when all of this COVID started, they actually somehow they found us and decided to do some lunches for some frontline workers. So I think we did 150 meals to Parkland, and they took care of all the frontline workers for that shift. The people liked the food, and what really happened was we have a social media team, and those guys really put some things out to thank the Mavs. And Juan and I did a video, and we did all these things. Guess what? The Mavs were watching, and they were like, man, okay, thank y'all. Like, it's like, it wasn't that we just took the business and didn't say thank you or any of that stuff. but they really liked our social media presence. And they were like, man, y'all, this is really cool what y'all are doing, right? So we got that one with them. And then when that happened, Channel 4 saw that. And so Channel 4 did a whole story on us. And so then there just became a lot more awareness about us. And then we did the Black History Month, the shoebox lunches. And and then the Mavericks decided to do 800 more meals in 2 days for the West Dallas community, called us to have us to do that as well. And man, that's just, it's been nuts. And then someone else told the Stars about us. And so they called us, and Chelsea and then Marty Turco came over to the restaurant, and they were like, man, we love what y'all do. Marty was like, hey, man, I've been here. I love the food. He'd already been there. We didn't even know he had been there.
Yeah.
And so the Stars were doing some things to reach out to the community, and they were like, man, we want to highlight your business because we see what you guys do for the community. I was like, what? So it's what you said, man. You just, as you give, man, that I promise you it's going to come back to you. You don't know how sometimes, but I promise you it comes back to you,
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And that's amazing.
That's how it happened. Yeah.
That's
amazing.
What happened. And it just shows, like, is when you put out good, what goes around comes around. Like we say that all the time, but it's true, and that works for good and for bad. So I think that's a prime example. In Dallas, I think Dallas is one of those cities, I've been here 15 years, and Dallas is one of those cities where people help out each other. If they see that you're doing something in the community, 9 times out of 10, either somebody's going to get it to the news, either maybe you or maybe somebody else that you may not even know. Just because and I think this in a culture, we're like dying to see good stuff. Like all we see on TV is somebody got shot here, this happened negative, and then you get that 5 minutes or 5 seconds, I should say, of the positive thing. And I think we're just so much gravitating and needing more positive things. And you're right about Mark Cuban. I have a lot of respect for him. People sometimes say whatever they have to say. He's a billionaire, but he uses his money in I think in the right ways in Dallas and in other areas. I don't know if you know who Delonte West is. He was a former NBA player, and he went and helped him out. Like when everybody was just pointing, everyone was just pointing and saying, there goes Delonte West. He actually went to go pick him up to help him out. And that's not something he had to do. It wasn't like he did this because he got some type of benefit or he wanted it to be on the news. He did it because he's seen somebody that needed help. And I got a lot of respect for Mark Cuban.
Absolutely. I feel the same way, man. He's done a lot in the community, helping a lot of people. Even the Heroes Gym that's in Oak Cliff. A lot of kids have been given chances there. I think the numbers are like 11,000 kids have come to that facility that have been helped there. So it's like, it's like before you knock somebody, you got to really know what all they're doing. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We did have another question, which I know you kind of answered this, when you said, what have been some of the ways you guys have had to pivot with business and moving forward because of COVID?
Yeah, so the biggest thing we did, when COVID hit, the biggest issue was we didn't know what an essential business was. No idea. They were like, I don't know. We figured nurses and, people like that, but
right.
Man, we didn't know. We didn't know if restaurants were just going to have to shut down, And then once we understood that, then we could actually market that back to, our customer base. The other thing that we realized was that our customers were at home. So we started to do a neighborhood delivery program and deliver food to people's doorsteps. My brother and I would actually do some of them ourselves just to stay connected to our customer base. And it's amazing what happens when people see you fighting and see you, making sure that your business is going to be established and come through the storm. Like people get in and want to help you. And so people just started ordering more and more food to make sure we were going to stay in business, And so again, the community reached back out to us. And that's why, it's like, you have to do these things. And then my brother and I decided to go live. So we started going live every night, probably about 3 or 4 weeks after COVID hit. We started going live every night, and we did it for almost 10 months. I think we've fallen off these last few weeks, but that created a whole new customer base, and we've had a lot of new followers through social media as well as through the business.
Yeah, yeah, and like you said, creativity is really the way to go when you have times like this. And I've you guys have definitely done that, and I love the lives because you just get on there like, hey, how's it going,
Yeah.
Tina? How's it going? Yeah, it's just me and my brother just sitting here. It's not like it's not. I mean, from what I've seen and watching them, you don't have like an agenda. It's just like you coming on, saying hi to the people, which I think is an amazing thing.
Yeah. Hey, man, listen, the only reason the lights are on is because of the people.
Exactly.
So, that's something we'll help preach to our team. Our customer service is based around people understanding the value of the folks walking through the door. You have 4,000 other choices that you can make, but you decide to walk through our doors, that we need to show you and give you the love that you deserve.
Exactly. So before I let you go, talk about some of the creative foods that you have coming out. If you're watching this, wherever you're watching this, Smokey John's Barbecue. You can find it on all avenues of social media. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, so that you can find see all these tasty things. And you got to come to Dallas to try it. You're not gonna send it everywhere to the individual people. So you got to come here. If you come to Dallas, check it out. But talk about some of the creative foods that you have coming out or you guys are working on.
So, of course, the fair just made the decision to open up this year. So we've got 3 items in the chamber right now we're working on. We can't give you all the details on
Yeah,
that yet, but
I
it's going
know.
to be
Yeah.
fantastic. However, we're working on a project right now where we're going to release 3 different crazy sandwiches that will be on our secret menu. So we have a secret menu that people don't know about. And if you follow us on Facebook or Instagram, then you will know. But besides that, you won't know the secret menu. So we've got a sandwich a girl just created yesterday that we're gonna expand on her idea. So she put some brisket, coleslaw, some cheese, and macaroni and cheese on top of a toasted a Texas toast sandwich. So we're going to add some more stuff to that sandwich to make a very crazy sandwich. So
I seen that. I was hoping you was gonna mention that one. I was like, man, that looks good.
Woo, boy, hey, it's big. Hey, we got some crazy stuff coming. We're gonna add some onion rings and a whole lot of other things to it.
Oh, okay. Man, you
And
you're gonna need 2 hands, and you're gonna need a little kid's hand to hold it at the bottom. So you need 3 hands to probably
yes, sir.
hold that one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what we at sideboards. You need all you can to hold a sandwich.
Right.
So we've
Definitely.
got 2 of these coming out, and then we've got some other things coming out. We do Food Fridays where we usually do a live cooking demonstration. So we've got some things coming out in the spring where we're going to do some outdoor live cooking, and we're going to invite people to come hang out and eat some of the food we're going to create.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Smokey John's Barbecue, Brent Reeves, thank you for coming on tonight. Make sure to follow. They're everywhere. So if you're on social media, whatever one you're on, type in Smokey John's Barbecue. It'll come up so that you can be on top of everything they're doing.
Man, thanks for having us, Ben. And I just love what you're doing and love the show, man. Hey, you rocking it, brother.
I appreciate that. Wanted to make sure I got you on at some point in time. Glad we were able to make it happen. Have a great night. Keep doing the great things you guys are doing in food and in the community.
All right, brother. Take care, Ben. Y'all have a good night.
All right, take care. You too.
Bye.
Thanks. All right, bye. All right, that's my guy, Brent Reeves. Man, I got so much respect for him. I love what he does. And I think he is like the true chef, the true cook. And he just does it with so much passion, with so much love for the people. And that's honestly, that's what it's all about. So our next guest coming up is Dr. Leonie Madison. I've had her on the show before. Glad to get her back on the show again. Once again, we're talking to creatives. So we're talking to those people that are creative in different forms. So we had a owner of a restaurant on. We had the creator of Charlotte Bats. Next up, we will have, she is an author, a speaker, and a COO. And she helps people achieve transformation in their lives. And we will be talking about that. She is the second time coming on the show. So let's bring her on now. Ma'am, how are you? I think you're on mute.
Hello.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay now?
I can hear you good now. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. How are you, Ben?
Doing good, doing good. Great to see you again. Great to have you on the show again. And glad to catch up with you as well.
Same here. It has been a wild 2020. I think we last spoke in like 2019.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Or 2019, the summer, and it's been wild, but it's good. It's a good wild.
Yes. It has been a very interesting year. And once again, Dr. Leonie H. Madison, she's a motivational speaker, also an author, and the COO, and she helps people achieve transformation. So I want you to talk about that and what you do.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity to share with your audience. I don't even know if I'm looking in a camera. I hope I'm looking in the camera.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
I'm doing good. Okay. So, hello, everyone. Good night. You're hearing from Dr. Leonie H. Mattison. I'm all the way in Santa Barbara, California. And I'm just really happy to be on tonight. As Ben made mention, I am an author, an educator, a trauma survivor, an advocate, and also hold a role of a COO for a nonprofit here in Santa Barbara. And what I really do is help individuals, teams, and organizations to achieve intentional transformation. When we talk about intentional transformation, we're talking about being deliberate, being purposeful, knowing what you want, being crystal clear about what outcomes you want to achieve. And how I do that, I always talk about my 3 superpowers. I help people to shift strategies. That's number 1. And number 2 is to improve performance and to grow revenue. So those are my 3 superpowers. And then when it comes to authorship, I have a passion for trauma survivors. And so we'll talk a little bit more about the books that I've written since we last spoke and how that project has evolved and the new things that I'll be working on in 2021 and beyond.
Yes. And I was impressed. You know, when I looked you up again, I went onto the website and I was like, wow, there are books, there are devotionals, there are workbooks. I mean, the thread has become a movement, like you said. It's not just one thing anymore. When we first talked, it was just the book, the thread, and now it has expanded. So talk about that over this past year.
Yes. So yes, the book has evolved. So when we first met, we were talking about the pre-launch to the Thread book, which is an 8-chapter inspirational and uplifting book that really walk readers through the lives of 13 women from the Bible and myself, and how we overcame trials, tribulations, and tragedy, all surrounding severe trauma, and how co-partnering with God, how he transformed our lives. And because he transformed our lives, we believe, and I believe that my sisters from the Bible believe the same, that to pay it forward, we ought to be impacting the world and helping others to transform their lives. So that book then grew into the Thread collection. And so I wrote the 8-chapter book first. And that book has the stories, illustrations, and also an opportunity for readers to do some journaling as well. Then I created the workbook to couple with the Thread book because, interestingly enough, when I started writing, I did not know, I had an idea who my audience or the target population was. But there was one population that I really didn't know how to reach them, but I'd always had them in my mind's eye. And so that population is actually women behind bars. And they're my biggest population. And so I started through a ministry here in Santa Barbara called Impact Ministry. I started working with that ministry and others to get the books inside the county jail. And from there, the women started asking for more. And then I wrote the devotional, and that's the Beside the Still Waters devotional. And then I also designed and published the thread coloring book. So that was the collection coupled with a 45-minute video. So that's the self-help book, the workbook, the devotional, as well as the coloring book. But then the women started asking for more, and that movement now started to evolve because now it requires more partnership. And so I started working with more organizations, healing programs, connected with folks in the military, in mental health institutions, and also individuals in the community. And that was where the Thread movement got conceived. And I'm sure you went on the website. And what we're all about is partnering with communities to really ensure that all female survivors have access to tools, guidance and support, and education to develop trauma recovery skills so they can achieve intentional transformation. Yes. So from there, the project continued to grow, and then COVID-19 hit and people were wanting more. So during COVID-19, I turned my chaos into, I don't know if you want to call them crystals or give me another C word, but I saw an opportunity to not allow myself as a single mom to isolate or to fall prey to everything that was going on, that I was so focused on the pandemic and not on my mission. And so during the pandemic, I wrote the book called I Wait in Him. It's a 31-day devotional. And that's what currently is online now. I'm so excited. We just launched the 21-day program online, and it's free for all women who are looking for inspiration and some upliftment in the morning. It's free for 21 days. And then from there, so we did the I Wait in Him devotional. We did a prayer book because survivors wanted specific help with praying to navigate beyond the trauma. So we did that book. Then my daughter, my 12-year-old daughter at the time, was also having a little bit of a difficulties, as all children were during the lockdown. And she also wrote and published 4 books. So she did 2 mystery books. Yes, Mama used the lessons learned, and
yes, it's passing down now.
Yes, but here's a neat thing about that. Those books were intended and are intended to help the women behind bars when their children, those who are mothers or grandmothers or aunts, or step parents, when their children come to visit them, this is a way to foster engagement, and so they're learning together. So the books are 2 mystery books, and it's a trilogy. So we have 1 more to go, and then the other is really a life skills book with a puzzle book. So then the project continues. Evolve and evolve and evolve, and I'm excited. So we have the thread collection, then we have the toolkit, and we're now fundraising for the toolkit to make it accessible to 1,000 women across this globe. So they do have access to not only the books, but also resources. We want to do trauma-informed care packets so that these women feel safe, respected, and feel like they're thriving beyond the trauma. So I'm so excited about the project. On and on, but
that's all right. That's okay. That's okay. This platform for tonight is for people to talk about what they do as creative people, and I'm just really happy and impressed with everything that you've done. When you go to the website, start restoring your faith, love, and life today with the free starter kit. Which, I mean, how many people need that? They need a restart. They need to restore their faith and their love, especially everything that's going on right now. That is ideal, ideal that people need. So how did you come up with the free starter kit?
Mm-hmm. Well, people were asking for, and I also got the idea from my coach. So shout out to Cindy Weingartner and also my friends. We're wanting to just get a little bit of a taste of what the book was all about. I've been speaking, all around the globe. And so I wanted to capture some of those moments and share some lessons learned from those speaking engagement. And that's that was how the toolkit came about. People were asking for a sample, so to speak. And it was my way also. I felt it was important to give people an opportunity to engage with the materials before they, say, for example, purchase the book for themselves or someone else. I think it's only fair that they get an idea of what it entails, but they end up getting so much more, because not only do they get a free chapter of the whole section of the thread book, which is the first step, which is called Think. They also get a journal. They get the 45-minute video. There's some affirmation. And these affirmation cards are not like your typical affirmation cards. We have intentional cards, are what we call them, or these intentional behaviors, these intentional questions that we ask ourselves in order for us to get intentional results. And so I'm really excited about that toolkit. So that's how it came about. It was really by request.
Awesome. I want you to talk about how important it is to journal, like journal down, what you've experienced or maybe what you want to see. Talk about that with people that may not be necessarily into journaling, but touch on that.
Mm-hmm. So we go back to the whole concept of the thread and how that came about. The thread came about because I myself had gone through not only the trauma, but it's the post, what happens after you've gone through the healing journey. And one of the things I noticed was that I kept going back to those unhealthy behaviors. And it was almost like I couldn't stop. It was like a drug. You keep doing that. You keep saying, I'm not going to do this thing. And then you find yourself not only doing it, but you become such a professional at it. And it's not taking your life to the next level. And so I started to explore with different tools. I'm an auditory learner. So one of the things I discovered very quickly was that when I hear something and I read it, I'm like a sponge. I'll grasp it right away. And so I started out first with I had to journal during my writing of the book because I had to go back into my history, which was very difficult. And so each time I would go back, I found myself that I was being triggered. In order for me to navigate through those negative because it was a negative experience, I started to journal, to write how I was feeling. And then I took it a step further to then write, how did I overcome, or what was some of the things that held me stuck to that experience that I couldn't move on. So I started writing it. But me being the inquisitive, if you want to call me, I'm a strategist. I like to experiment with things. I started to not only write and journal my experiences, I started to record it. When I recorded those experiences, I then listened to them. And that was how my healing, that was a stamp on it. Because when I listened to what I was holding on to, I realized, wait, that's not the woman I want to be. I'm not the little girl who didn't know better and I was raped. That's not who I am today. I'm an adult. I'm a mature woman. I can face and admit and acknowledge what I've been through, but I don't have to stay stuck there. That is what journaling does for you. It allows you to, it's almost like you unleash, you let go what's inside of you. And when you put it down on paper, and you begin to read it, and if you take it a step further and record it, it will amaze you how much we allow ourselves to hold on to, number one, and not let go. And number two, it will also amaze you at the miracles that are around us and how powerful we are. And so when I discovered that being that intentional helped me to not only restore my power, but that I could access that power anytime I wanted to and for any reason. And so that would be with my elevator pitch for someone who's thinking, why should I journal? Journal helps you to empty out what's inside, and to empty. And when you empty out and you see all the pieces in front of you, you get to decide, do I keep them or do I let them go? And if you decide that, you know what, I no longer want these things, you bless and release them. And then the things that will help to propel you forward, to help you to show up as your best self, you keep those things. And that is what journaling has done for me. It has helped me to start, stop, and continue some behaviors. And I've seen how my life has transformed. And because of that transformation, and others are looking, because people are always looking at us, I'm seeing how others' lives are being impacted by my transformation. And I love it. I love it.
Wow. That's awesome. That is awesome. And I've learned that as well. Being able to write down what I've experienced, write down your dreams, the visions, the things that you want to do as well is, I think, a great thing to have a journal for. Now we know COVID hit us last year. There was really kind of hit a lot of us off guard. But with you having a lot of time, how were you able to manage with COVID? How were you doing speaking engagements virtually, and were you putting up more material? So how did COVID work? So last year,
Going back to journaling again, and the power of journaling in helping to bring those desires and the vision that God has given us and to bring them to pass. That's another power, because I'm a Christian. So a scripture in the Bible that I love, it says, write the vision and make it plain.
yes.
So during COVID-19, I had made some, set some intentions for 2020. And let me tell you something, Ben. COVID, I had made it up in my mind that I was going to accomplish those goals. For me, yes, I've had my low moments, my frustrating moments, my moments when I felt fatigued, weary, all of those emotions. And it's okay to allow yourself to go through them. Here's the thing, you don't have to stay stuck in them. So for me, during COVID-19, I worked from home. I saved maybe 4 hours a day, 1 hour between getting dressed for work and then another 45 minutes or so to get to work.
Mm-hmm.
I maximized those 4 hours. Let me tell you, I was writing like crazy. I accepted every speaking engagement I was invited to, because that helped me to get my work out there. I used my those moments, also the hours that I got back, to start exercising, walking, spending more time with my kids, cooking at home. It has worked to my advantage, actually. And I would say one of the biggest achievements that I personally have experienced is coming into the woman I've always known myself to be.
Mm.
And having this time at home to really soul search, to self-reflect, to pause, to ask myself some deeper, meaningful question of, Leonie, who are you? Who do you want to be when you get out of here? When beyond COVID-19, who are you? And that was when I made the decision to leave my job. I was working in government, and I made the decision that I will no longer show up or stay in any situation where I'm tolerated for my gifts and talent. I don't have bad, I mean, everybody have bad behaviors, but I have noticed over the years that because I'm a super talented woman, very gifted, very successful, I do make some people uncomfortable. And so during COVID-19, I'd made a conscious decision that I would no longer settle for less than who God created me to be. And I would no longer practice I used to practice this thing of trying to win people over. COVID-19 really taught me more about who I am, and I embrace who I am as this woman, and I'm happy with her. I love her. And I'm no longer ashamed to say I'm successful. I'm no longer ashamed to say what I want. So then I transitioned. I left that job, and God launched me into something, I mean, so aligned with my gifts, my talent, my purpose, right? And it is an assignment, and I know that. But it's just so amazing how God sat me down. I'm going to use it from my experience, sat me down and taught me more about who I am. And I pray that others have experienced something similar. And if they've not experienced that, find me on Facebook, visit my website. I will help you and teach you how to become so crystal clear about the outcome you want to achieve. And when I told my boss, Ben, in 2020, in January, when we first did our first meetings with my team. And at the end of the meeting, I told them, this is my last year with this organization. And then COVID-19 hit a couple months later, and they're like, oh, so what are you going to do? I said,
Yeah, you
this
really
is
gonna
my
quit?
last year in this organization. I'm leaving. Then December came. I did not have a job.
Yeah.
December, no, we're at the end of it. I mean, Ben, my birthday passed December 4th, no job. Second week, no job, no prospect. And then God, I was so intentional. I was so sure that God told me that was going to be my last year, that I waited. Yes, I was applying, I was interviewing, and I waited and I believed. And on the 23rd of December, I got my job offer.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Congratulations.
So
That's
COVID-19
awesome.
helped me to get that crystal clear and to take those intentional steps. So during COVID-19, I started taking more courses. I started to really learn how C-suite leaders behave, how they think, how they speak, how they operate. Who do I want to become? What are the steps I need to take to get me there? I use that time period to prepare myself. And I truly believe that when I was ready, God made the move.
Wow. Amen. And that's right. A lot. And I think COVID has done, it's been very destructive, obviously, for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
But I think also it's given people a lane to really pursue what it is that God has put inside for them to do, their passion, their purpose. And I commend you for doing that. And I believe that anyone that's out there, you can definitely help them reach that, because there's something deep down inside of you that you know you're supposed to do, but you're holding back from doing it because of your job or because of COVID. But you gotta start. You gotta start because that door will continue to open, and more opportunities will continue to come. So that is awesome.
Yeah, the thing about knowing yourself and understanding your purpose and those opportunities that you just referenced is that they will not always knock on our doors. And we need to understand that it is our responsibility to really grab a hold of who we are and understand what we're called to do and the purpose in which we're called to fulfill, and honor that. Honor who
Right.
we are as women, as men, honor that.
Yes.
And, I think we spend way too much time trying to impress others and prove ourselves to them. Back to your question, during COVID-19, I launched a thread movement. I launched a thread toolkit. I'm fundraising right now on Kickstarter and doing very well on there right now with the toolkit to raise the funds so the women have access to these tools. I helped my daughter publish 4 books, and they're doing way better than one of my books are doing. Her books are doing amazingly well. I also, during COVID-19, yes, I've had losses, Ben. I'm a single mom of 3, but I'm not going to focus on what I don't have. That doesn't help me.
Right.
I believe that my head should not be a burden to my shoulders. I believe that God has given me a brain. He has given me my thoughts. And I believe that God will give us ideas and teach us how to elevate ourselves out of certain situations. And that is what I've personally experienced, and want to help millions of women and men around the globe to understand that you have the power of intentionality, and you have access to that power, and you have to nurture that power, and you have to take steps. Ben, I work maybe 10, 15 hours a day. Yeah. And yes, I get that. It's going to take some manpower. I'm a single mom. I'm by myself. I'm going to do things on my own. However, the return on investment,
yes.
amazing.
Priceless.
Amazing.
Priceless. when you put the time in. So during COVID, I was working from home. I started BS3 Radio, which now has different podcasters that are on my network, and I've also started BS3 Coaching, which is a way to help people get into podcasting that hasn't been into podcasting. And my wife also is a life coach, and she's kind of helped. But like I think COVID has birthed so many things that were already there. You just needed, sometimes you need that person to say, hey, this is something that you've already vocalized that you want to do. So go do it. I mean, and it's not gonna be, it's not always gonna be, it's gonna take you from 0 to 100. There's a process to everything, but the
Absolutely.
beginning of the process is doing it. Now I wanted to just, what a proud mother moment for your daughter and the books that she's written. Talk about that. I know you reached out to me because she was writing the book and we were helping to get it to that #1 spot. But just talk
Yeah.
about brag on your daughter a little bit for a minute.
So let me give, it's a joke. So my daughter, quick story, my daughter wanted a lizard. Now I'm Jamaican, okay? I don't know if you know anything about Jamaican and lizards. We deaf. Okay, I don't know I can't explain it, but and even the lizard is here and I'm still scared of the lizard. So she wanted a lizard, and I then said to her, if you want the lizard, you have to earn the income to purchase the lizard.
Mhm.
Okay. She was 12. She went to her bedroom and she came back with this paragraph. I read the story, Ben, and I'm like, this is amazing. Yes. And she said, yes. I said, I want more. She's like, no, Mom, that's it. I said, no, it's so good. Go back. And I kept pushing her. And finally, she had it to the point where we could then solicit the services of like an editor to really help to fine tune it and to get the story in a structured format, etc. And she did it. She wrote the first book. And yes, I'd reached out because she was competing for cover of the month, and she won 3rd place amongst like hundreds of folks who were competing. She won 3rd place. I was so proud of her. And then we published the 2nd book this year, and we're going to try and wrap up the 3rd book this year because I've got a lot of vision for that project, even though she's like, Mom, stop, so talented. And
Yeah.
I know she doesn't understand right now. And somebody said, she's 12, she's 13. She's not supposed to understand. I'm like, I wish she did. But she has like $1,000 in the bank, and she sees how, I think for her, she's having this finding satisfaction in conceiving an idea and has seen how when you enlist supporters to help you and bring it to life, now she's reaping the benefits of her labor. And I'm just so proud of her. I'm really proud of her. And I know that God is going to take her beyond where she's at today. She doesn't see it, but that's not her job. My job as her mom is to see the potential. I think she's a super duper writer and an illustrator, and she's going to go places. And I'm so proud of her.
Yes, and that's awesome.
All of them. She did the book. The second girl launched a business. She's selling foot scrubs and stuff, and I'm super proud of her. And my 3rd daughter gave me my first grandbaby. Super proud of my grandbaby, and she's into the candle business and healthcare. So you know what? God is doing His work in their lives, and
Yes.
that's something that they see that God has done in my life will inspire them to even go further than where Mommy has gone.
Right. And that's just a testament to you as a mother that they have done these amazing things. And I think that's awesome. I'm extremely excited for the whole family and everything you guys are doing. Make sure to keep in touch. Let me know what they're doing. I would gladly share it out on my social media just to continue to support. The website is LeonieMadison.com. Her name's right there on the screen, so you can put the first name, last name.com. A lot of amazing things on the site. So they'll be able to access all the books and all the content from the website, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on tonight. Glad to get you on the show again.
You're welcome. Thanks, Ben, and thanks to your audience. God bless you, and cheers to a great 2021.
Thank you. You too.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. That was the lovely Dr. Leonie Madison. She's been on the show before. I wanted to get her on the show again, talking to people that are creatives. This is part 2. Part 1 I did a couple of weeks ago. I had a photographer, music artist, a chef, and then I also had an actual artist on. And my last guest is going to be Neil, Story to Tell. He is a comedian. He's also an awesome YouTuber, man. His creativity is through the roof. And I wanted to make sure I got him on tonight as well, as we're talking to creative people. Neil, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing, Ben? What's going on with you?
Good, man. Glad to get you on the show. Man, we met through a message group on Facebook.
Right.
I think it was Black YouTubers, and I found your channel, and I was like, man, I like what he's doing. We kind of have really supported each other. But talk about a little bit of background on yourself and introduce yourself.
Well, my name is actually Cornelius Sambo, as my AKA Neil. And me personally, you know, I'm a family guy. I'm a family man. I used to do security, and now I do mostly gig economy work. And one day I was like, well, let me go ahead with the COVID. I was like, let me do YouTube again. And I used to do comedy too. I used to go to the little comedy clubs, and YouTube is where I'm at.
Yeah.
This is where I'm at now, and I met you, and that's a blessing within itself. And I appreciate you, and thank you for having me on here. And man, YouTube is my passion, man. I love it, and that's pretty much that's it. That's all. That's my wife would say.
Awesome. This is an interactive show, as you know, so we may get comments and people coming in. Shout out to Mike Gaston. Thank you for tuning in tonight. If you got any questions for Neil, you can definitely put those in the chat room there. But YouTube has become my passion too. I really wasn't into YouTube as much. I was just more into just doing podcasting, doing audio. And then I figured out, like, hey, there's a whole nother side to this video that people love. That people will be on YouTube all day, just looking up all types of random things. And then your channel, which is comedy driven, and it's just like it's telling a story, but also it's just having real talk about things that go on. So talk about the idea of the channel. Is that who you are all the time, or is that just on the channel?
Well, I'm hyper. I'm trying to be calm my nerves right now. I'm like, I'm hyper. What you see on the video is me, okay? And I'm hyper. I'm goofy. Some of the characters I play, like Cousin Corn, I'm a nerd. I was never that popular guy. I was always the nerd that everybody, oh, that's Neil. And then Grandpa, I played Grandpa. I love that character because at times I'll be a grumpy old man, you know, and I love doing everybody you see in my characters is a part of me, or I know somebody that portrays that character. And with my editing, I actually thank you for that, because I wasn't really into green screens at all until I started talking to you. And I was like, and I started dipping and dabbing into your podcast a little bit. And I started saying, I started being like, whoa, wait a minute. So when you see the videos, that's me. I talk like this, that you get what you see. I don't portray nothing phony. This is who I am. I get serious. I'm funny. I'm goofy. That's me, man. That's me.
Now talk about your Friday episode that you do, which I think is hilarious. Just like Make It Make Sense Friday, and then the stuff is stuff that you think people think about all the time, but you just like hit the topic head on.
Oh, Well, when I was younger, I used to be an evangelist, believe it or not. I used to preach. I used to go ahead, and I was at the Campus Crusade for Christ, and that's where it started. It started like that. It's literally started like that, and then the worldly little bit of me comes through, and then one day where I'm at right now, right, sitting right now, I was like, man, make it make sense, man. And literally, I was just like going, God, I was like, Lord, make it make sense. And then all of a sudden, boom, on a Friday, make it make sense Friday. Oh, thank you. Okay. And I went ballistic. Make it make sense Friday. Everybody, literally on my channel, people want the Friday. And make it make sense Friday, and I love making it. It's like I get to say things that you can't really say to somebody up front because they would go ahead and probably slap.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
They would just slap you and be like, "There you go," you know what I'm saying? But it's a stress relief, man. It's like if something going on in my world, I could go ahead and just hit it head on and laugh about it. Because life is too short to be always serious all the time. Look at my gray hair. I got enough salt and pepper, man. You having 4 kids, a wife, and got brothers, sisters, oldest of 7. Yeah, that's a lot, man. And I'm an uncle. Man, let's get it. I'm a family guy, man. I'm a family man.
That's
and
a lot.
I'm strong, brother. I'm strong. Get it going, man. Shoot. So when it comes down to this YouTube, I didn't know it was so much involved. And I started going to other channels. I'm telling you, you are really, I mean, when you go ahead and look into my descriptions, you are on my description. You know what I'm saying? Literally, as a link, because I was like, I want to support you. You know, your success is my success. You know what I'm saying? And I was looking and paying attention and saying, I could deal with this guy. This guy's cool. You know what I'm saying? Talking about sports. And I was like, wow, the people I meet, okay, I could do this. Because I didn't have no confidence with YouTube, man, because I tried it, 4 years ago. It didn't work out like I wanted to. So guess what? Came back, going to this Facebook group. Next thing you know, starting to shoot up, and I'm happy. I never thought. I started with like 100 subs. Now,
well over 1,000.
Yeah, so I'm like I said, I was like, my nerves are getting better now, as you can see. I'm starting to become myself, and so I'm like, no, man, being a YouTuber gives you an opportunity to give you creative juices that you will not be able to use any other time. And with like when I do Make It Make Sense Friday and I do the editing, I put things on there. Like for example, so I have angels on there. I have stairs to angels now to the heaven. People will probably never know what that is, but that's a part of me though. You know, I'm not saying, put it like this, man. Jesus Christ is in my life. Period. Okay.
Amen. Amen.
And so that's where it's at. But that doesn't mean I'm not the prodigal son. So I gets to the point. So when I go ahead and do that, when I go ahead on YouTube, you see everything. You see on my edits, you see my anime. As you can see, I got this, my anime shirt, Vegeta, Dragon Ball, you name it. I'm subbing everything, and you will see everything on my YouTube channel, man.
Yeah. And you got some supporters coming through. You got Shantae Sambo, I believe that's your wife. She says hi. You got Nikita. She says yes. When we push, we gain.
Yeah,
got to keep it going. Yeah. That's true, man. YouTube, like I've been in the podcasting community for a while, But when I got into the YouTube, I was like, man, this is a whole nother like community that supports each other. And like I said, we found each other in this Facebook group. I mean, there's a lot of support that goes on there. That's how I've gained a lot of my subscribers, is just by showing support to checking out what people do. And yeah, when I found out about the green screen, I was thinking like, man, I don't know. Even with doing live videos, I was like, I don't know if this is something I can really do, because all I'm used to is just talking into a mic. I don't have to worry about what I have on. I don't have to worry about if I'm like wearing anything. It don't matter.
Right.
But then when you do videos, it's a whole. It is a different level. But once you get used to doing it, it just becomes like second nature. And you just continue to build on it. And like some of the things you've been doing, especially with the new intros, also with the green screen and seeing it, man, it's just amazing to see you growing. And like you said, my success is your success, vice versa. And we're here to really support each other. And that's kind of the reason for tonight, is people that create. You know, I had different people on. That was one of the main things I wanted to do is to reach out to you. So with your channel, what's the like long-term goals you have, or things that you want to do?
Well, my long-term goal is a group. Well, it's not a group, but it's scenarios. Now, he's actually a YouTuber, and he has a little group, ATL Universe, where he has a group of people that creators that he's worked with and is working with, and they build together a community. So that's where I am at right now. I want to not just build myself, I want to have a community. Hey, bestie! Hey, I want to build a community where we all grow, and then we can go ahead and do things outside, up to even maybe Netflix, because that's the new thing now with YouTubers. It's not like per movies, it's Netflix. So if you want to go to that level, that's where I'm at. So that's to build a group, to build a team together. We working together. We helping promote one another, and then eventually go into hopefully Netflix. I'm not trying to do all the other movies now. Netflix cool with me. I'm actually a shy guy, so I'm not one of those cats.
Really?
Oh yes, man. You should have seen. You should have seen the butterflies I've had when I was talking to my wife. I'm like, oh, please, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm scared. I'm nervous. See, that's Cousin Cole right now. That's Cousin Cole right now. So when you go ahead, I'm a loner a lot. I'm a loner, and it's just like this YouTube thing lets me release all that tension, and my wife is happy I'm doing it. She probably saying, "Thank you, get him out my hair," So it is pretty cool. I've met some great people. You one of them, and I really want all of us to grow. I'm talking about you already there, but I want all of us to grow, and I'm sincere about this. And as a community, especially as Black creators, I want us to go ahead to other levels, and I want us to go ahead and start saying we got each other back, instead of going to somebody else, another race where we have each other, and it's thousands of us.
Oh,
and I'm sincerely, and you can ask anybody. No, I'm sincere about that. So that's where I'm at, man. Where I want to take it. I want to go ahead and take it to another level of helping each other out, going to Netflix, making those type of movies, and where we don't have to depend on these big old studios where they could be like, they tell us what to do. We get only 1% of the money, and then they get the rest.
Right. Exactly. That's how it works. That's how it works. So, and Netflix is a great avenue, man. There's so much content on there that is Black content. I mean, it amazes me sometimes when I'm bored and I just scroll through and look at different things. There's a lot of quality content on there. Sante says, "Got to work together as a group to grow." And then she says, yes, laugh out loud to your comments." He said, so with the channel, you do the videos every Friday. You also been doing the lives as well, which I kind of like those because you'll pop up. I'm a night owl, so I'm a person that stays up. So I see, I'm like, oh, Neil's on. Let me come in there and say what's up, see what's going on. So talk. Are you going to be doing more lives as well? Going into the future.
Oh yes, lives to me is a great way to talk to whoever's online and on a personal level. And plus, I need watch time hours, and it helps tremendously. And the lives is not going anywhere. Matter of fact, it may go even. I may. Now, forget that. I'll be going to you. I'll be looking in, probably going into your podcast because that's where the lives going to start coming from. Is because I'm just going off the cuff when I do this stuff. I don't ask people to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? But now people saying, okay, now I'm missing the live. Now everybody's getting on me about this. You gotta let me know when the live going. So yes, the lives I love. I get to do what I'm doing now. What I'm doing now, I'm talking. I just like, man, this just me, man. Just you get in the real deal here. You're like, lives, the lives is gonna be more. There's gonna be more lives, and I'm trying to get my brand out there. I'm going to have to change my name, the channel name. It's long. It's a sentence long.
But people know what it is, though. When you say Neil's story to tell, like I know what it is. I think most people do, but I get it. They want shorter things that you can type in easier, probably.
But and you know what? That's what somebody said. Me personally, I don't want to do it. But sometimes now it's becoming, you got to start thinking about your brand. As you can see, it's like, okay, I got to start, if you're going to continue to move, you got to go higher. And that's not my forte, but you got to start thinking like that. 9 times out of 10, I want to keep it. Forget that. Now I have a story to tell. That's right.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm getting a lot of advice everywhere. And it has helped me. And I looked from Walmart. My first story back was Walmart drama. And from 7 months now, I'm off to here talking to you. I'm like, wow, thanks for inviting me. I keep saying I'm very humble when it comes to all of this, man. I've never thought this would happen. I just thought I may get a viral video and call it the day. But nah, I've met some good people, man. Like I gotta give a couple of shout outs to Positive P, Nikita J, my wife Shantae, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, my friend Bobby, man, I'm just telling you right now, all these people who's part of the team and been there for me and yourself, we a team, bro. And I'm looking forward to more growth. I'm speaking that into existence. I really have a good feeling about this, and you have to stay positive. You have to stay positive no matter what, and never forget who put you here. Always remember your Lord, our Lord and Savior. You can't forget that now. That's all. Hey, I had to say it. I'm good. I ain't saying nothing else. But with that,
you good.
Yeah, but when it comes down to this YouTube, I have a passion. You should see my room, my dining room. This was growth. I started from here, went to my shack that I have in the backyard, which is no heat in there, so I be freezing. One time, one of the videos, I was having cold air. I was like in my breath. I'm like, dang, this is not the way to go. So then I went ahead, came down in my house. I went to my house and I made the whole not the dining, the kitchen, a room in my house. I'm building a green room. I'm building literally all green. That's not easy.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's not. But that's the next level, man. That's the next level.
Oh, big time, man. When you with the editing, like I'm into anime, and the green screen, you for doing anime on YouTube, in my opinion, in acting, you need the green screen. So,
Yeah.
but you need the green screen. That's not the green screen like we would use. No, you need something bigger because of the graphics that you would need. And I still like a guy named King Vader. He's on Netflix now, and he actually started from YouTube. He started on YouTube doing anime, and he was like doing anime. And he started dancing. Hey, his niche. That was his niche. He made him. Hey, he went up. So that's where I'm trying. I'm trying to get into that editing world where you be like, wow, I can't believe he did that. And that's where I be coming at. It's a passion of mine. Every week, I go ahead and be like, yes, okay, what am I going to do now? I just, like, yes, what's up?
Yeah, Mr. Burns, yeah.
Oh, man, you should see me. My family don't even think, I'm not, my wife, she knows everything, but they even don't think. They teenagers, the young adults, they be looking at me like, man, you not funny. You ain't funny. Get away. And nobody, I have had people come at me and was like, I didn't know you had that in you. You never gave me a chance.
That's true. And believe it or not, same thing as you. I was quiet. I was probably the quietest person. People now say, I wish you talked more. Like you're just so quiet. But when I get behind this camera or on this microphone, it's just like none of that matters anymore. None of that matters. You're in your zone. And I just, now I wanted to ask you, who has been your biggest inspiration, in comedy, actors, whoever?
Martin Lawrence.
Okay.
Martin Lawrence. Oh, Martin Lawrence, big time. Then you got Bernie Mac. Okay, Bernie Mac. But my channel is pretty much geared towards Martin Lawrence. Martin.
Yeah.
And that's where I get a lot of my ideas from. A lot of them. And because he can play so many characters, what's in his head, which he was doing. All those characters was him. You know what I'm saying? A part of him. And so I get a lot of that from him, period. It's other comedians, but him, I will watch. I know, and don't think I'm crazy with this. I literally, every show he made, from Martin, the TV show, I dang near remember almost every line. That's how much I watched it.
I hear you, man.
That's how
I think I've seen every episode, and when it comes on, I'm like, yeah, this is the episode that's happened. I mean, like, that's one of those shows, along with the Wayans Brothers. That was a show I really liked.
Yes.
It didn't get its proper due, when they got off the air.
Living Color didn't either.
Living Color too. Eddie, I love Eddie Murphy, man. Eddie Murphy with the all the characters that he's done in all of his movies, the Clumps, Norbit. I mean, like this guy coming to America, he's one of those guys that I've always enjoyed watching. So I gotta ask you, the big movie that's out now, Coming to America 2. Have you seen it? And what was your thoughts on it if you have seen it?
Yes, I've seen it. And okay, real talk. I didn't. The Prince, they should have had more of a backstory with him. Eddie Murphy was too soft, in my opinion. On the first Coming to America, he had a little oomph to it. He had, he will fight somebody, alliance. He was like this, strong. Man, he was just too soft. But his father was hilarious. So you would get assassinated in less than a week. or something like that. And
Right.
then, and then, and then, today's age, in today's movements and stuff like that, you can see that in it also. It just wasn't the same. It wasn't. Look, I wasn't expecting to be part one, okay, but
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy, I'm not going down him because you're right. Because Eddie Murphy is number 2 on my list. Number 1, number 2. Some people even say I laugh like Eddie Murphy. So it was. So I'm not going down the movie, but I can critique it. Where there's a lot of things that could have made it great. The Prince was just horrible. The Prince, no. Now that was like the 80s, 90s when we was growing up. That's how it was. It was more. It wasn't into the new age. It was still back earlier when we was younger, and what you expect. So I would see it again. I give them props. But it was it was still funny. It was funny, like when his wife kicked him out his own room.
Yeah.
That was funny. That was hilarious. And then when he actually waking, who thought of him getting woke up? Like they had a whole routine for them just to say good morning to him. I was to them. That was insane. So oh man, I ain't trying to do spoilers. Whoever then ain't watching it, yo.
Hey, it's too late now. It's 2 weeks now. That's your fault.
Why they don't play in look? Oh,
I don't. That's a great question. I don't know. I mean, you can't find it anywhere unless you buy the DVDs or something.
It's a political issue. The Wayne brothers and Fox, and Fox has some issues. It has some creative issues, and what happened is that's why they didn't come back to that last season, and that's why they haven't got no reunion. That was it was all about creative control, and so I guess that was the big issue. And they was already they
weren't family friendly. Probably like Fox probably wanted them to be. Yeah, they probably wanted them to tone it down, and they were like, no, this is what we do. But back to the point of coming to America, I watched it. The first time I fell asleep. I'm honest. The second time I fell asleep again. So the third time I told myself I'm gonna stay awake and watch this movie. And for what I guess, because the first one I watched it, I'm like, come on, there's too many cameos. It's too gimmicky. It's too like I was expecting it to be close to the first one. I know that's not fair. People say that's not fair, but that's all I know. And I've recited lines in this movie for the past 20 years, and I can't give you any notable, quotes, from part 2. So I think there was too many cameos. I'm respecting it though for what it is. It was a reunion episode. It was really just meant to say we did it through with all of the people in it besides Samuel Jackson and Eric LaSalle. If they would have had those two in it too, I would have loved to seen that. And then the Prince, the son, did not play that role that well. Yeah. And I think that probably messed it up for a lot of people. But you got to see all the characters back, besides the wife too, because the wife she died in the James Earl Jones's wife. She passed in so in real life. So, but I think they did it. It's obviously going to be the #1 movie because people want to see it. We've been waiting on this for so long, and I don't think it lived up to the hype. That's the part that probably like made me most frustrated, is because I've been waiting on this for so many years. Like,
but and you said it correctly in the politically correct way. It was it was bogus stuff. You said it the right way, but I was just trying to be nice, man. But coming to America, it wasn't. Nah, it was a reunion. You are correct. And see, so that's why I like you too, man. You calm, you cool, man. Look, Eddie Murphy, they did their thing. They did their thing, and hey, it's #1. It was #1 on Amazon.
Right.
It's #1 on Amazon, and my wife loved it. And it was Coming to America 2. I will watch it again and with my wife though, for I won't go to sleep.
Yeah. And I think we've had so many years that have passed, like political correctness is like taking over everything. So
Yeah, it has.
some of the stuff that we would have wanted to see, up the ratchetness and the raunchiness, we just wasn't gonna get that. This was more of a family. This was more of a family film than the first one was.
Well, and that's the thing about comedy. I'm glad you said that. Comedy is. It's been many times. I already have a stuttering problem a little bit, but in my head when I say something, because I already have a little mini script in my head when I say on my show, on my videos, and next thing you know, I say, "Ooh, I can't say that." I try to pull it back, and then I would say YouTube friendly. Now, when I say YouTube friendly, I'm thinking in my head what I would say if we was younger. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, I can't say that. I can't say that. And then I try my best not to curse. But this society is hard to be funny now. It's hard to be funny. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
And everybody feelings will get hurt, if you saying the wrong thing. I don't talk politics, though. I do not talk politics. I'm not going to talk it. They can say anything and everything. I'm not going to do that. So that's just from my preference.
Yeah.
But comedy is not easy. You know what I'm saying? Comedy is not easy. And but I'm going now. COVID is slowing down. I'm going back to the comedy clubs and open nights. And I'm looking forward to that. I got to cut. I have everything ready to go. I'm not trying to contradict myself, but I have to actually force myself to go up there. No,
I hear you. It's not easy. People think comedy is you just go up there and you just say stuff. Like they write stuff. You gotta write a script. You gotta test it on different people.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta hope that the joke comes across, like people understand what it is. And then you got people like Chappelle, which is just, it seems like he's just talking, but I'm sure he's got to still still come up with ideas and stuff that's like relevant. And I think too, when you've been doing it for so long, you're able to learn and figure out ways to get around things. But comedy is not easy at all.
Oh no, it is not. And even if Kevin Hart's a great example, right? Okay, he's just not as funny anymore. He had his time, but he's still making his money. Okay. Mm-hmm. I respected him when he was going through the circuit. When he actually did his acting, okay, no, I don't care for it. But now he just need to relax, chill, because he's not funny anymore to me. Dave Chappelle, you would never hear me say anything negative or bad about Dave Chappelle. He really went through the ringer by turning down $50 million. I don't know if I could do it.
That's hard to do.
Yes, it is, but he has the respect of everybody. And when you're a comedian, that's half the battle, because you have that first couple of minutes. Like if you go to open mic, you have that first couple of minutes, because they will let you go. If you're funny, they will let you go far, longer. But after that first 2 minutes, if you ain't got that crowd, you can forget it.
It's over.
It's over with.
You might as well just walk off, pack your bags.
Oh yeah, and I'm not. When my comedy, when I'm on stage, is straight grump mode. I'm a grumpy old man, like Grandpa. I'm a grumpy old man half the time, and you got to use look, when you I mostly white people, Caucasian people I'm around, it is a difference between us black people and white people when it comes down to comedy.
Oh yeah.
Sad to say this, but white people will laugh at you because you're a man and a black man. You know, you're a black man, and you know what I'm saying, they will laugh at almost anything you say. But
Yeah.
us, no.
Oh my. We'll throw cans at you.
Oh man. Water, anything and everything if you're not funny, you know. So
we will torch. We are the hardest critics on comedy on planet Earth.
Oh, big time. I remember when I went to the Comedy Shrine in Naperville, Illinois, and I was a regular there for like 2 months. I always would come on open mic, and everybody laughed, right, at my comedy. But then you had a couple black people. They looked at me and was like, no laugh. No, I was just shaking my head. Now, nobody else knew about it, but I paid attention. And I was like, I got to work on myself because it is a difference. May he rest in peace. Eddie Murphy brother, Charlie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy.
Yeah, Charlie Murphy. What he said was this. When he was going with the white people, they was laughing at everything and anything he said, right? He cursed and all that. They be laughing. He went to the black community. They looked at him one time. They booed him on stage. They booed him on stage. He had to step his game up. But comedy is a passion of mine, but you have to also know what you're getting into.
It's work. It is real work. That's why we got to pay respect to the Eddie Murphys of the world that's been doing it for so long. Martin Lawrence has been doing it for so long. Bernie Mac, you know, rest in peace. I could still put on Bernie Mac episodes and still laugh. Still laugh. So.
Oh, he used to come on when he was in Chicago. He used to actually he was in my neighborhood that I grew up in, but I didn't know nothing about him. You know what I'm saying? Till after the fact. But he used to. I've just heard. I didn't see him, but I heard he used to roast people. No, he used to like roast people. You know what I'm saying? And it was funny. He had everybody laughing. And the kings of comedy got his due. He got his due. And that was funny. Bernie Mac. Eddie Murphy, nobody would disrespect Eddie Murphy because he was the one of the pioneers of our generation with his type of raunchy comedy. You had Red Fox. You had Red Fox, but Eddie Murphy was the mainstream. And people were starting to follow off him. And then you had Bernie Mac didn't give his props, but then you had the Steve Harveys, the Cedric.
Right, Cedric Entertainer, DL.
Yeah, that all of those. Everybody's still. My sister's here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hey sis. Yeah, I guess everybody's showing us love tonight, so that's
definitely,
cool.
Definitely. Man, Neil, man, we gotta do this again. Man, appreciate you for coming on tonight.
I appreciate you having me, man. I'm looking forward to another day.
Definitely. So the channel is Neil. I have a story to tell. You can you can go in, type that into YouTube. You can find it there. Also, you have a Facebook page. You're also on Instagram.
Yeah.
Where can everybody find you and follow you at?
Neil _42_ story. And for Instagram, my TikTok is Story Monster 0. Then, of course, you know, the YouTube, Neil Have a Story to Tell. On my Facebook, I have an actual page, Neil Have a Story to Tell page. And those are the places you can find me.
Awesome. Put some respect on his name.
Yeah, put some respect on my name.
Man, I love what you do, man. Love the creativity. Thank you for coming on tonight. And thank you for your support. And as well, I will continue to support you.
All right, thank you, man. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Good night.
Peace. All right, man. That was Neil. I have a story to tell. Great job, Cornelius Sambo. That's the government name, but he does a great job. He's funny. He's creative. I really enjoy what he does. Thank you all those for tuning in tonight, pointing the way to Jesus. Thank you for tuning in. All the support, I appreciate that for Neil. Also for this channel, if you haven't already, make sure to like, subscribe, click that bell, be on top of all the great content. Also, if you want to help support BS3 Radio, the channel, you can click the $ below by the chat box and you can donate there, any dollar amount, whatever it may be. But thank you for tuning in tonight to part 2 of Talking with Creatives. We had some great conversations with different people. We talked at the very beginning. We talked with Rick Curti of Charlotte Bats. He is looking to bring baseball to the Charlotte area. We also talked to Dr. Leonie Madison. She is a writer, an author. She's a speaker. She's also a COO of a company, and she's a motivational speaker as well. She does very great things. Leonie Madison, you can see her name on the graphic or in the comments. Also, we had on Brent Reeves. He is the owner of Smokey John's Barbecue here in Dallas. I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And then we had Neil. I have a story to tell on the show as well. Make sure to subscribe to his channel. If you're on my channel, you can go down to the bottom and it should say Friends of BS3 Radio. He is one of my friends of BS3 Radio that you can click on and subscribe to his channel as well. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your support. We will be back on Monday. And on Monday, we'll be doing a movie review of Judas and the Black Messiah, a recent movie starring, I can never get this guy's last name right, but Daniel Coolio, I believe, or Coulier. Also, I'm drawing a blank on his name, Lakeith Stanfield, great actor. Doesn't get a lot of respect for what he does. So we'll be reviewing that on The Forecast on Monday. Myself, my man Wilkes, Ivan Dawkins, and A-Trap B on this same channel. So make sure to like, subscribe, and click that bell. You'll be on top of everything that we do. And we will be back on Monday at 9 p.m. Central, 10 Eastern. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great night. Peace.